Are you crazy? No, this is gonna be fun. Just go. Now. Don't be selfish. I need this. Go. Go.
Welcome to Cinemagna. In today's video, we will showcase behind-the-scenes video of the 2022 American romantic musical comedy drama film titled Marry Me. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel to be notified when new videos are released. Marry Me is an upcoming American romantic musical comedy drama film directed by Kat Coiro and written by John Rogers, Tami Sagher, and Harper Dill. It is based on Bobby Crosby's graphic novel of the same name. The film is starring Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson, Maluma, John Bradley, and Sarah Silverman. After discovering that her onstage partner, Maluma, has been having an affair behind her back, Kat Valdez, a sensational Latin pop star played by Jennifer Lopez, chooses to marry a stranger, Charlie Gilbert, played by Owen Wilson, who happens to be holding a Marry Me sign at her live concert by accident. The film is based on the comic Marry Me, which was first published as a webcomic. After filming from October to November 2019, Marry Me is scheduled to be released by Universal Pictures on February 11, 2022, and will also be available for streaming on Peacock on the same day. Without much further ado, please enjoy the Marry Me behind-the-scenes video.
Una gran canción juntos. Con ustedes, Jennifer Lopez. Make some noise, New York! Come on, make some noise!
Marry me, won't you love me, baby? Marry me, won't you love me, baby?
We love you guys. Marry me, Jennifer. Owen, Maluma, baby.
And roll sound.
You look good. Yes. Okay, and cut. That's a lot, Buteau.
You heard me scream! Alright, now for the rest of you who know how to follow directions, I bring you the one and only...
I love you!
Yeah, let's get ready for a second rehearsal.
No. Yeah, so for the iMag camera, that's the position Owen's going to be in. Okay.
57 F, take one. Hey, Mark.
Take him up.
So you kind of hold your mom
Take two. Hey, Mark.
Take him
It was
up.
our first date, and I got to sing yesterday.
Take 70, take one. Baker mark.
I play Kat Valdez. She's a superstar, a global kind of superstar. She's strong and confident. She's a businesswoman. She's a boss. But also she's just a regular person. She's a regular girl who is, gets lonely and who needs love and who wants to feel like she has a home, and she's not a gypsy who's kind of, just traveling the world and traversing all of these things and can kind of find a place that is hers. There was so much about it that really I could understand like nobody else could understand. And for me, it was really about, in every moment, kind of bearing my soul. It was actually a little bit more uncomfortable than playing a character that is nothing like you. Because this is you kind of like really bringing real personal life experience into a role in a way that I've never had to. At the opening of the movie, Kat is about to get married. She thinks her life is going to be one thing. She's doing this huge concert with her boyfriend of a couple years, and they just, she thinks her life is like headed down this one path. And in 1 second, everything changes and it all falls apart. And obviously she blames herself for not seeing things, but makes a choice, a very kind of spontaneous choice to marry somebody else in the audience. And that's how she meets Charlie. And with that, her life completely changes, as it does when you meet someone who really sees you for who you are. And being that Charlie is not into celebrity and doesn't know who she is as an artist and doesn't know how famous she is, he's able to really just see a person and love her for who she is, just the girl, the nice person that she is, the person who likes to have fun, the person who is competitive and, and loves to dance and those type of things. And it's nice to see how these two very different people can kind of come together and really fall in love, and you really believe it. And Owen is amazing, and he really helps her grow and kind of stand on her own for the first time in her life and let her know, like, just be a friend to her and help her realize that she's the love of her life. And until that happens, you really can't be in a good relationship with anybody, and that's maybe been her problem the whole time. And he helps her discover that. Owen and I are so very different too, which kind of worked for the characters really well, And it was just great kind of getting together with him and hearing his perspective on Charlie and my kind of perspective on Kat and how different we thought about things. But at the end of the day, I think those differences is what the movie's about. How different their lives are, and how do you bring two people together that way? And we were really able to find, kind of the connect with them, which is just everybody kind of just wants, at the end of the day, no matter how big and famous you are, you just want a simple life. You want to be happy. You want to have love. You want to find love. And I think Owen and Kat both had that. And I think that's where Owen and I kind of really concentrated with the two characters, and were able to really create this wonderful chemistry between us. At the beginning of the movie, it just seems like a natural thing that they would get together, that they would be together. They could fall in love and be together because this is their life and they both understand this life. And I think halfway through the film, after she's been with Charlie for a while and Bastian comes back into the picture, it's like, I think Charlie's watching that performance of the two of them at Madison Square Garden and thinking, this is where she belongs. This is who she is. She's not the girl who's been hanging out with me at math class the past few weeks. This is her world. This is her life. That's the type of person she should be with. But it turns out it doesn't matter like what people do or how much you have in common at work. Personally, who you are as people is what really matters, and how someone makes you feel. Do they make you feel safe? Do they make you feel secure? Do they make you feel at home? Working with Maluma was a joy. It was so much fun. This was his first movie, his first time acting, and he was a natural. He was a real natural. I remember doing the first scene with him and going to the director and going, he's a natural, that's good. It's not gonna be weird or awkward. It's not like, he has studied acting his whole life or anything like that. This was just him really doing it. But sometimes, you don't get lucky. But we got really lucky because he was a really natural actor and he really understood what his role was. And we had a lot of fun. I mean, it's his charisma, that, we needed somebody who could really pull off that they were a superstar, a recording artist, who was easy on stage, who girls would go crazy for, who was, believable as a cheater. He hates that. He's like, I'm not this guy. This is not who, I am not Bastian. I go, no, I know. It was so much fun because we really wanted to sing at a big venue for when they get back together in the middle of the movie. And Maluma just happened to be doing a concert in Madison Square Garden during that time. He had a few shows there, so we were like, why don't we crash that concert and film it? And so we did. He was a great sport about it. In the middle of his regular concert with all his fans, I just come out and we do Marry Me, and it was amazing. It was really, really amazing. So it was a lot of fun.
It seems like kind of the love triangle that's sort of set up, that she's having to sort of pick between these two worlds, kind of the world I'm from, just teacher and kind of a simple life, and then this other world of this superstardom and all that goes along with that, as represented through Bastian, and that's her Sophie's choice in this movie. You can't imagine anyone but Jennifer Lopez playing this part, just because it seems so perfect for her skill set. And just the other day, where we're doing a scene where she's, dancing with my students and kind of leading them through some choreography. And usually, making movies can be a little bit tedious, but when they were doing that scene, everyone was watching the monitor, even the security guys, just because it's fun watching her dance. We definitely don't need a double for her dancing. In some ways, Charlie being a math teacher, I cannot tell you that math was my best subject. In fact, it might have been my worst subject, and might have even kept me from graduating from college because I could never get my math credit. I was an English major, and I was I was a language requirement and a math class. And I'm having to do some real acting to hopefully convince people that when I talk about find the prime factorization of, that it sounds believable. Kat Coiro, the director, she sent me the script, and we had some great conversations, and she kind of saw me playing the part and kind of told me how it would work, and so then I didn't really know her, but in getting to know her during the course of the movie, and even kind of working on, rehearsing before we started, she just brings kind of a great energy and enthusiasm, and also just kind of good, as a director, you're making a million decisions, and I just feel that the stuff that she's telling me to do, or her ideas for Charlie Gilbert, I usually feel are right on target. So it's been a good process.
It's not just a case of Collin works for Kat. It's Collin works for Kat, but he's also a confidant, and he's also a friend, and he'll defend her right until the very last word, and she'll kind of do that for him as well. So it's a much more nuanced relationship than just a professional one. And I think that, as Kat's world becomes more complicated, and, personal events and personal turmoil start to impact the professional side of her life, it's just interesting to see how Collin can kind of straddle those two things and be whatever Kat needs whenever she needs it, going above and beyond just the call of duty, and being a real friend to her, I think, and right up until the very last moments of the movie, that's true. And yeah, they mean an awful lot to each other, and it's nice to explore all the different ways that they're important. Working with Jennifer Lopez has been one of the most extraordinary experiences of my life. Jennifer has this extra warmth to her. When she smiles, an audience smiles. And when she wants to convey anything, it's all in her face. She's got such a expressive face. She's such a wonderful actress, in addition to a wonderful performer in anything that she turns her hand to. So it feels like that this part could only be played by one person. And luckily for us, we've got that one person to play it. And without her, it just wouldn't have the same credibility to it. You wouldn't care as much about what happens to this character and the characters around her. She's just at the central point of everything that we needed to make this character, and as a result, this film work. So without her, I don't think we'd be making this movie.
Charlie's this laid-back guy and who's, a Luddite and, happy with the kind of ritual of his life, and I think Parker straddles that line between him and Kat in that she, embraces, the apps and the phone and the, social media, but she's also a teacher here, she's a peer of his, but she loves the pop culture world, and she's able to be tough on him and kind of mean to him, and hopefully that it's with love, and she kind of gets him out of his regular routine, and it proves to be kind of okay for him, no matter how scared he is of it. Watching Jennifer Lopez do brand new, never seen before, massive production value, songs in full and dance songs, performances. Sorry, just a full a show. We were at a J-Lo concert that's called, where she's playing someone else named Kat Valdez, but it was unbelievable to watch live, and I can't wait for the audience to see it. I think it's so fun to see him in this role. He always, whatever he does, he brings his complete self to, and yet he's completely the person he's playing. He's this brilliant character actor, but he's also this really beautiful leading actor. He's so kind of filled with heart and earnestness and vulnerability, and it's really special to see in a leading man.
I was excited about this film because, first of all, I get to work with Jennifer Lopez. Have you heard of her? She is amazing. And I love the comedy of Owen Wilson and Sarah Silverman. Shut up. But then when I read the script, I was like, wow, what a beautiful story, between these two pop stars and what their life is like. In front and behind the camera, because it's chaos and sometimes you need people to ground you. And I'm like, this is sort of like flipping a rom-com on its booty and saying, hey, these are real people we look at, and it's always like a clickbait culture of just like, oh, it's just a person on Instagram. But it's like, no, there is, a person with a real life and real feelings behind whatever Instagram picture you're tapping. And how does that all come into play? And that's sort of what drew me to this movie. Melissa is Kat Valdez's assistant, and she's also a longtime friend. I guess some would say chosen family, and I think it's important to have people like that in your life when you're that famous, people who have your back and have known you for a really long time before the come up. And yeah, Melissa is, she's outspoken for an assistant, very sassy. It was a stretch to play. But, I think it's also important to have those people in your life who are going to remind you what you want, for better or for worse. When Kat chooses Charlie, Melissa is really taken aback because that is not the life that she's accustomed to or that she's known that they've worked towards. So I think, Melissa constantly questioning her and judging Charlie makes Kat realize, maybe I really need someone like Charlie. What Maluma brings to Bastian is everything that Maluma is. He is attractive, he is talented, he's a hard worker, he speaks that Spanish. But what's so great about him in this movie is that you get to see his acting chops. He loves hard, he fights hard, and he's a sweetheart. And we've all been there, we've all fallen for the wrong person. You know, we've all fallen for the person, you know, that we think we're supposed to be with. And it's very interesting to see how it plays out between the both of them, because Melissa, my character, really wants them to be together. I think Melissa might have a little crush on Bastian, because who don't? Ooh, girl, the chemistry between Maluma and J-Lo was popping. You know, they're sexy and they're Latino and they know how to, you know, move their hips and sing them songs. And they're international superstars, so you cannot stop watching them. And to have them together on film is going to be next level.
Oh, my character in the movie Bastian, this this guy, well, he's amazing. He's a lover. He loves life. He loves his music. He's in love with his career, but he's also in love with Kat, this older woman who he feels that she could be the love of his life, right? But after that, he feels a lot of pressure. And he started taking wrong decisions.
Bueno, ¿cuál es mi rol en la película o qué personaje soy en la película? Me llamo Bastian, Sebastian, o en español es Sebastián, donde estoy enamorado de una artista de pop que pues ya tuvo su carrera, lleva varios años haciendo su carrera y que luego, bueno, me encuentra a mí, nos enamoramos, tenemos una relación perfecta. Y bueno, ya luego pasan cierto tipo de cosas que hace que nos separemos. Yo soy el culpable de la separación, pero yo como personaje soy una estrella, un pop star, una estrella de pop que pues le encanta su carrera, le encanta su música, es muy apasionado y bueno, es un tipo con mucha libertad, ¿no? Que cree que lo puede lograr todo, un joven que está más o menos en sus 30 años y que cree que tiene el futuro para él en sus manos. Así que ese es más o menos Bastian, el personaje en la película, un popstar que tiene el mundo en sus manos y que está enamorado profundamente de Kat y que lastimosamente por malas decisiones hay una ruptura en la relación. Bueno, ¿por qué estoy tan emocionado de ser parte de esta película y de trabajar con Jennifer? Porque siempre ha sido uno de mis sueños desde muy pequeño, incursionar en el mundo de la actuación. Siempre lo quise hacer, tuve propuestas anteriormente, gente quería trabajar conmigo, pero a todo eso le dije que no, porque estaba esperando el momento perfecto. Quería entrar como por la puerta grande, por así decirlo, y ahora tengo un rol que es importante en la película. Aparte, no solamente que estoy trabajando con Jennifer, estoy trabajando con Owen Wilson, y para mí pues eso es un logro muy especial, que mi primer papel como actor sea acompañado de estas dos grandes estrellas del cine a nivel mundial. Y bueno, estoy muy feliz y muy emocionado de ser parte de este proyecto. Bueno, la música en esta película y lo que hemos estado creando en los últimos meses ha sido magnífico, ha sido algo muy bonito. He tenido la oportunidad pues de trabajar en un par de canciones de la película. Estuve en Colombia, en mi casa, con mis productores y un equipo de compositores excelente. Y me hacía falta esto, ¿no? Me hacía falta escribir un poco de romanticismo, un poco de estas canciones que casi que no se ven mucho hoy en día. Y bueno, sí pasó, me fui para mi casa e hice varias de las canciones que van a ser parte de la película. Jennifer trabajó conmigo de la mano, siempre estuvimos en contacto, siempre estuvimos al pendiente. Lastimosamente no pudimos meternos al estudio de grabación a trabajar juntos, pero siempre fue un trabajo a distancia que salió muy bien. Bueno, estoy muy emocionado para que todos mis fans puedan ver esta película. Creo que va a ser una sorpresa para todos, como es una sorpresa para mí, ¿no? Pues incursionar en el mundo de la actuación y un papel tan importante. Yo creo que les va a gustar, me van a ver por primera vez actuando y creo que va a ser una gran sorpresa para todos, así que no se lo pueden perder.
Marry Me is about a single father who gets dragged to a big pop show between Kat Valdez, the biggest pop star in the world, and her fiancé Bastian, the other biggest pop star in the world. And as she's about to rise on the lift, she discovers that he cheated on her with her assistant. And she has a little bit of a meltdown on stage. In the audience, you have Charlie, and he's listening to her. And he happens to be holding this sign that says, "Marry me." And she says, "Why not? I'll marry you." And he gets dragged up on stage, and they share this kiss. And it's improbable, and it's impossible, but they have a connection. We really lucked out and got our dream cast. And Owen and Jennifer together from the first moment just had this chemistry that was exciting and unexpected. And they're an unlikely couple, and yet they work really wonderfully. And it was really important to me in casting Charlie that I had somebody who was really nice, but also had a sense of confidence and a sense of self that was very distinct, because he's not in it for the fame, for the money, for the beauty. He's in it because he sees something in her, and he has a real genuine connection to her. And Owen has such a special, just unique, that's the only word I can use, unique way of being, where you feel that he's very comfortable with who he is. And that really becomes a big part of the story, is that he just loves her for her without any of the trappings. There's a level of fantasy to this movie, of this normal everyman, Charlie Gilbert, being picked by this huge celebrity and kind of coming into this lavish world of excess and sparkles and beauty and wealth. But there's also a peeling back of the curtain and seeing how hard this world can actually be, and how lonely, and how you can be surrounded by people and being kind of dragged along by other people's expectations of what they need from you and what they want from you. The only way this movie could work would be to have Jennifer as the lead, because she understands this world, she knows how to perform, she knows what it's like to, perform at Madison Square Garden. And so the casting of Bastian had to match. You couldn't just put an actor in who didn't understand that world. And Maluma brought this amazing nuance to this character, because what he does, cheating on his fiancée, is not nice, but he's not a villain in any way. He's a young man living the rock star life. And we were very informed by Maluma. He kind of rolls with this big entourage, and I said to him, God, we have to have Bastian have that same entourage, and you'll see when he comes into a room, he comes in with a whole bunch of people. And so again, we were just able to use the authenticity of these people. And they're not these characters. There are huge differences between J-Lo and Kat Valdez, between Maluma and Bastian. But, having the authenticity of these people who live this rarefied life that most of us don't understand was key to making the film work. There are a variety of original songs in the film. Jennifer has a handful of songs, Maluma has a couple songs, and they were all crafted for the film. And they fit thematically, they're ballads, there are big pop numbers. It's really exciting. And I think one of the things I discovered as I was making the film was I just wanted more music. Whenever we would film a sequence that was scripted as like, we see a little snippet of music, I was like, no, we need to see that song, because watching her perform it's just so magnetic. And I think it's gonna really be what sets this film apart from every other rom-com ever made, because it has these original songs. I'm excited for people to see this film on a number of levels. The highly produced songs, and then the tooling around on the piano and figuring out the words, and then performing from the heart in a really simple and beautiful way. I think it's a breath of fresh air to have something that legitimately makes people smile and feel happy.
The music is big at the beginning, the spectacle is big, it's all by design. And then as she learns to trust herself, it becomes more intimate. What began to happen was this great sort of anthology of songs that chart and harmonize with the character's own journey. So she sings a song that you are the love of my life. Well, that's her embracing her. And the Marry Me ballad and the Marry Me up tempo and the song at the prom, After Love. I hope this movie gives people hope, gives them a few laughs, gives them a song that's stuck in their head like it's stuck in our head, and tells them that there's a romance to trusting the universe.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and comment on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released.